What's up everyone, Drunken Phoenix here. So today I'm going to go over some videos with people talking about some of the bad, piss poor financial decisions that they made. So this is going to be a way to make ourselves feel better because surely if you guys are here, we made some bad, decisions in the past, but definitely nothing as bad as some of the people in these videos. So let's go ahead and get started with the first girl who is a trucker gal.
Pickup truck.
How much was the pickup truck?
Like $80,000. It was used, $80,000. My plan was also to put it on Turo, right? So other people can use it as well. And then
Heard about this scheme before.
And then I had friends that were like, no, let me just lease it from you. And then I've gotten over. And who pays for the truck?
Okay, so for her, I have to say I admire the risk. I mean, she seems like a go-getter. I guess she was going to buy that truck, then rent it out and, lease it, whatever, and get some passive income from it. So I admire her taking the risk. However, I think she should be a little bit more risk adverse because it's like, even if you're going to do like, if that's your business plan, I would think you don't have to buy the most expensive truck. Especially a pickup truck. $80,000 for a pickup truck that's crazy to me. Unless, like I said, unless you're, really rich and just have a lot of money or, you can afford it, that's a little bit different. I still would be wary of that. That's just because, trucks and cars are depreciating assets. So, I admire the drive, but, clearly she's learned from it. So let's not go too hard.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done financially, like long term. Sam and I used to work on cruise ships. Every week we'd fly somewhere different abroad, not throughout the United States, like abroad. Like you go to China and then you go to Japan and then you go to Sri Lanka and then you go to Alaska, right? You're always going. But we were broke. We would go fly literally with like dollars and like $10 in our account. Like,
there's no way I could ever do that. I don't know how some people do that. I don't know anyone that did this specifically, but I do know some people that were like, maybe they'll go to an expensive event or they'll or maybe even like some people that might be like in New York and they're doing all this fun stuff, but they're just financially, they're just like barely able to make it. So
dollars. And like we'd be in the airport like splitting a pretzel, like broke, but we were out making money so we could pay off this debt. And we just I think you can get used to anything. So I just think we were used to not
living on the edge.
Living on the edge.
Living on a prayer, it sounds like.
Basically. And so one time we'd gone to Argentina. So certain countries, when you come in and then exit, you have to pay a fee that's called a reciprocity fee. And the fee was $25 per person. When I tell you we didn't have it, and we were like standing there looking at each other like, do you have it? Because I don't have it. Like we were about to spend a night in Argentina. It was one of those points where it's like, okay, I've got like $18 on this card. You can try to run it and I hope it'll go through. I'm okay if it ends up on an overdraft. Just try it.
Get me out of this country.
Do you know it went through? And I praised the Lord so hard. And yeah, we got hit with the overdraw, all that stuff. That was one of those aha moments that I was like, oh God, like we're broke and we almost ended up like locked up abroad.
Okay, I'm actually just genuinely curious. This is like a little bit off topic, but it's really shocking to me how you have to pay to leave a country. I never heard of that. When I went abroad, I never had to pay. You had to pay for your tickets and stuff. I never had to pay a fee. So that's very interesting. I just thought that was really curious. But that's crazy story. I would never recommend traveling with dollars in your bank account.
Stupidest thing you've ever bought?
10, 12 years ago, I went to Vegas with me and like 10 of my buddies, and they convinced me to get this table at this big nightclub. And you know me, I don't even like go to nightclubs and do that kind of stuff, but I'm like, okay, we'll go. And I'm like, but we're going to split it, because I'm always the guy that you're like the rich friend that pays for everything. At least back in the day I was. None of my friends were wealthier than me. You go there, like, yeah, we're all going to split it. Well, we get there. Guess who ends up paying for it? Yeah, minor. A couple of them try to use their cards, they decline. They're like, I don't have the money. A couple other guys disappear when the guy comes with the bill. So I'm left with this bill, and it's supposed to be like a $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 table, and it ended up being like 19 grand. And I'm like, mother effer. Don't cuss, kids. But that was probably the stupidest thing that I ever spent money on. 19 grand for a table for all my buddies who got wasted, and I'm the like sober guy. And none of them paid me back. If you're watching, friends, I'm still upset about that.
Here are my two biggest financial regrets as a 25-year-old living in Chicago. Number one, moving to Chicago. Nah, I'm just kidding. So my first biggest regret is spending too much on rent. I recently signed a lease for a $2,500 a month apartment, but it's never just $2,500 a month. You have to factor in utilities, application, admin fees, and move-out costs. All in all, this is going to be around $2,700 a month over a 14-month period. I feel like I would have been better, spending somewhere around $2,000 a month and saving that money and investing into the stock market, which is going to lead right into my next biggest financial regret, which is not investing early enough. I started investing consistently around 23 years old, and I really just started getting into it over the last few months. I invested a little bit when I was 19 or 20 years old. I invested like $3,000 into a Robinhood account. I checked it a few weeks ago, and it had doubled. It was like $6,000. A big part of that is because I got lucky and I put a lot into Nvidia, but I believe this just showed me how powerful investing really is and how much this can compound. Don't get me wrong, it was like a 5 or 6 year period, but still, this is a long game. It's not a short game. Big reason why I want to invest earlier is because I want financial freedom. For 4th of July, of course, we had some time off from our jobs, and I had 9 days off to just do whatever I wanted, and I was so much happier. Let's be honest, jobs are jobs. We don't want to do them. We want to live free, so I want that really bad. But, it'll take time. Those are my two biggest financial regrets. I know it's nothing crazy. I really haven't had many financial regrets. Let me know your biggest financial regrets in the comments.
What's the worst investment decision you've ever made?
Buying a race car.
What was the race car?
Subaru STI. She was great.
Yeah, until she wasn't. How much do you think you spent?
$30,000 to buy it, and then 10 grand to repair the engine after it exploded. And then for the year that I had it, it was about 50 grand.
Was it at least fun for a period of time?
It was the best year of my life until the engine exploded.
Why would you buy a race car in New York?
Because I was 25.
Okay, so that was a lot. Once again, those cars, you guys, I keep telling you guys, those could be some of the worst financial decisions that you ever make.
So what does it cost to live here in New York City on a monthly basis?
Apartment is $3,300, but I have 2 roommates, but we don't have like a washer dryer or in-unit dishwasher. Like, if you can't do it with your hands, then you can't do it in general. So, you gotta not get lazy.
That's when you know you made it in New York, is when you actually have a dishwasher. You're living pretty frugally. In fact, you have 2 roommates. What do you think is the most expensive thing you buy every month?
Honestly, my fucking Con Ed bill.
How much does Con Ed cost?
Depending on the month. I mean, like in the winter, it can, skyrocket up over $200+ a month. With AC, it's a lot cheaper.
More money on the Con Ed bill or wine?
Wine.
What's your most irresponsible expense a month?
Oh, milk.
Milk?
My most irresponsible expense is milk. I love A2, A1 milk, and that Alexandra stuff, that's like $9.50 a half gallon.
Damn, why is it so good? What's so amazing about it?
It tastes like the milk that I grew up with back in the day.
So it's like real milk, not that pasteurized, whatever we drink.
It's like the milkman coming over to your house without sleeping with your mom kind of milk.
All right, so yeah, that's really interesting. He says a lot of money on milk. As far as me, do I have any bad financial decisions that I've made? I'm sure I do. It's really hard to think like on the spot. One thing I could think of. So one time I had this leak in my house, like my shower was leaking, and I had to call someone to come figure out where the leak was coming from and get it fixed. So there was this one company that I heard of. They're not a plumber, but they look specifically for leaks. So I thought about calling them, but I was like, I don't know. I'd rather just call a plumber that could just find it and get it, thinking I'm saving money. So I called the plumber. The plumber was able to take a really good estimated guess on where the leak was coming from. So he did he replaced something with like the drain pipe or whatever, and that cost me $400. So I'm thinking, okay, I mean, a little pricey, but at least that fixed everything. The next day, my shower's still leaking. So I'm like, frick. So I called the initial company, the first company I looked at that looked specifically for leaks. I'm like, fine, let's call them. They charge $300 just to find where the leak is coming from. So turns out the pipe was not leaking. The leak was coming from a crack, and like there was like a crack between the floor and the shower, so you know that little corner. So it wasn't really a leak. It was just water seeping through on the floor. So all I had to do was just get some, like, just, I think it's called a caulk type of machine. Just get that, just cover it with that to fix the leak. So basically, long story short, I spent $400 extra on a plumber when I could have just spent $300. So yeah, that was a bad financial decision I made. I was trying to save money by just calling a plumber up front when I should have called the leak company first. And yeah, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.